Hey everyone, and welcome to the Learning Ladder. Today I thought I'd share with you how I teach skip counting and an introduction to multiplication. So for skip counting, I like to use the hundreds chart, and I'll show you a different way as well, but this is the way my daughter prefers. And we'll take the tiles and we'll start with, so say we're counting with fives, so we'll start putting them in 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on and so on, and we'll just keep practicing that every day. And saying the numbers as you put the square in, and the act of putting the square in and looking at the patterns really helps with memory. You can also use, if you're in the UK, 5p or 5 cents if you're in America, and that's another way to incorporate money as well. So counting with money, so you could put your money in, so you get your fives, and same thing with the tens, so we'll just keep doing putting them in, so on and so on. Do the same with threes, fours, every single skip counting pattern that you're trying to teach. This can work really well. Once I got that down, you could move to the pointer and pointing them out to the hundreds chart. We do this occasionally as well sometimes, but to be honest, my daughter prefers the other way with the hands-on activity. But if you've got a funny pointer, you can practice the skip counting that way too. Then we start talking about groups, so I'll use some kind of manipulative. I've just put some M&Ms out because I was just eating some M&Ms. My daughter was having some too. We were having a movie afternoon, so I got some spare. So yeah, any kind of manipulative. If you want to make it more fun on occasion, using something like they like to eat or snack or whatever, but just regular manipulatives is absolutely fine. So what I'll say is we'll put them on, depending on what we're doing, so whether it's 5, 10s, 2s, 3s, whatever it is, I'll just say one group of 5 is 5. 2 groups of 5 are 10. And then I'll say one group of 5 is 5. 1 times 5 is 5. 2 groups of 5 is 10. 2 times 5 is 10. And I think having both the groups on the table and on the board at the same time is really helpful. You could just do the groups first if you wanted to, but I wanted to introduce the multiplication symbol at the same time. And then I'll also go on to say 1 times 5 is 5, and show it this way too, so that she knows that they mean the exact same thing. And just as I said, just reiterating, the grouping. So one group of 5 is 5. 1 times 5 is 5. And I don't know, a tune sometimes helps too. My daughter really didn't have an issue remembering these, but tunes always help if you do. Yourself, if you hear a song over and over again. But keeping the words in the song to a minimum, I think, is really important. A lot of songs have all these different rhymes in there, trying to rhyme numbers with different words, and I think when you're trying to focus, that can be too much for you to remember, whereas just keeping it 1 times 5 is 5, 2 times 5 is, keeping to the basics of what you're trying to teach can be really helpful. That's just my opinion. And then of course introducing the vocabulary. So this is times, but it's also known as multiply, and your answer is the product. But I'll start with the basics first. You don't want to give them too much vocabulary all at one time. See how they're going with it, and introduce that when you think it's the right time. Because I think if you introduce times, multiply and product all at one time, they might be a bit so just go by your kids. You know what's best for them. Okay, then when it comes to arrays, again, I use the square tiles, but you can use anything. It doesn't have to be square. Whichever you think would work best for them. And so for argument's sake, I would say make a row of 4 tiles. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll make another row of 4 tiles. And then I'll say, so how many rows of tiles do you have now? So you've got 2, and how many tiles are in each row? 4. And I'll say this is a 2 by 4 array. And then how many tiles is that altogether? 8. I'll either write it on the board at the time of the lesson or the next lesson, depending on how well she's getting it. But that's how we've handled teaching skip counting and multiplication. It's worked really well for us, so hopefully it'll be helpful for you. If you've got any other tips, definitely leave them in the box below for anyone else who is looking for help with skip counting and multiplication. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. See you soon.